Hi, everybody. Steve Albrecht from the SafeLibrary.com and Library20.com with Layla the Wonder Beagle, talking about some things that you may not think about until there's a big issue, which is chemicals. And I've been doing some consulting for some companies and looking at their training programs, and they're talking about all the issues that we have to look at as responsible business operators when we have a facility where we use chemicals. And this is anything from cleaning supplies to paints to things that we use to clean, the whiteboard in a training room. All these things have potential for hazard, especially around kids, swallowed, things that get released into the air. When I was a kid, I worked at a restaurant, and one of the maintenance people came in and mixed ammonia and bleach and just about poisoned everybody in the building. They had to call the fire department, and it was a big, cleanup mess and all kinds of issues like that. Because when we think about chemicals, we're under a lot of OSHA guidelines, and the manufacturers of these chemicals that we use in cleaning supplies and paints and things like that, paint thinners, have these MDSs or material data sheets. And the material data sheet has everything about the chemical, what hazards are, how do we store it, how do we use it, how do we get rid of it or dispose of it, what the side effects are in terms of inhalation or exposure to skin, what the first aid remedies are, things like that. So think about if you are working with facilities people, your building operators, take a look at those material data sheets, MDSs, and look at the chemicals that we are bringing into the library, where they're stored, how they're used. Make sure that everybody who has some area of responsibility around chemicals, especially cleaning supplies and things like that, knows that we have to store them in a place where kids can't get to them. We can't put them in a place where somebody comes across them accidentally. Think about the stories that you may have heard about people having horrible situations with their dogs and cats, licking antifreeze that falls on the ground in the garage when they pour some in their radiator and spill a little bit. These things are useful in everyday life and business life, but extremely deadly and dangerous when they're not cared for and mastered. So we have this issue about onus of responsibility as building operators in the library. If anything that we're using with chemicals, think about the material data sheets, the MDSs, think about how we use, store, dispose of, and the first aid remedies for these things for all the chemicals that you're coming into. So do an inventory, figure out what you got, get rid of stuff doesn't need to be in there, keep the bare minimum on hand, and then use that to take care of your library. So on behalf of Layla and the best Beagle in the world, Library 2.0 and the Safe Library, see you next time.